Welcome to You Can Call Me Goddess because you're so much more than a queen. My name is Manuk Vink. I am a trained intuitive energy healer specialized in transforming your body and your life. In this podcast, we are going to be diving into everything to unlock the goddess that you are within you. Think of it as the ultimate glow up from the inside out. It's time to unlock your power. It's time to unlock your magic. So sit back and enjoy the show. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another You Can Call Me Goddess podcast. And in today's podcast, we are talking about something that is very much a hype at the moment. It has been over the past few years already, but I think it is important we start discussing it and also the energetics behind it and why it is so important that we tackle this from a different angle. Today, I want to talk about Ozempic and specifically the other version of Ozempic, what I like to call energetic Ozempic, because you have the ability to have the same results as Ozempic in an energetic matter without having to destroy or hurt your body. And we're going to dive into that today. And I want to give you a bigger understanding of how all of this works and why I personally am not a fan of things like using Ozempic or shortcuts. Actually, the shortcut is actually working and listening with your body. I'm actually going to give you the shortcuts, but I am not a fan of these hyped methods that are going to give you weight loss, fat loss results without actually connecting to the root cause of what is going on. And I don't know, I'm sure if you haven't already, I will link it below. And yeah, I would suggest go listen to it. We have recently been talking a little bit about dark forces, dark energies, and also how these low frequency, low vibe concepts have been impacting the beauty industry and the fitness industry. And although we're only scratching the surface of all of these topics, and we can definitely go deeper into these topics, I think it is very important to see in reality what these businesses are trying to do. They are trying to profit off of your insecurities. So every single time they come out with something new, better, faster, that is going to get you the best results, and you have to spend thousands of dollars on something like this, or it's something new every year, I would ask you to question, is this empowering me or is this taking my power away? This is something that I want you to ask every single time you want to try something new to get the results that you desire. Because I truly believe that if you're a good coach and if you want to get the results that you desire, you need to tap into your own core power, because that is at the core of everything. Because when you don't do that, what starts happening, you're going to end up in a cycle of trying new things over and over and over again, and you're never going to be truly fulfilled with the results or actually get what you desire. So that is a little disclaimer before we actually dive into it. So I want to talk about Ozempic. I want to talk about weight loss. I want to talk about this idea that we want a shortcut to get the results that we desire, especially nowadays in the last, 10 years. What has it been? 10 years. We nowadays have so many things to get a shortcut to looking younger, feeling thinner. I don't know about fitter. Feeling thinner, they suggest it will make you feel fitter, but not necessarily. There's all of these external things that you can start doing to the body to get you the results that you desire. And if you're not watching me live or you're listening to the podcast, I'm doing quotation marks in the air because it is actually not getting you the results that you desire. And I know from experience that I have been totally ripped without any extra supplements, just doing an extreme diet and workout regime and prepping for a bodybuilding competition. And it did not heal my internal wounds, and it did not get me to get the lasting results that I desired that I have now, because I started working on the internal shifts in my body, because that is what it's all about. And if you haven't listened to my previous podcasts about the body and what the body's communicating through weight loss, through nutrition, all of that stuff, please go listen to those podcasts, and I'll do my best to link the majority of them in the show notes, because you need to understand that your body is working with you. It is not working against you. It wants you to excel. It wants you to up level. It wants you to tap into your power, into your abilities. And what we are doing nowadays with plastic surgery, with the ability to have fillers, Botox, you name it, all of that jazz. And believe me, I get it. I have also wanted to go down that road because I was like, oh, it's just a quick, easy fix. But now that I understand the energetics of all of it and how it doesn't actually fix anything and probably does more damage to your body than you realize, or to your intuition or to your abilities, and you actually have the tools and the power to do this on your own when you start decoding and understanding the body, you will not want to necessarily, I don't think at least, if you listen to the stuff in the Goddess Academy and if you listen to this podcast, hopefully it will be my mission that you start to realize that you can do all of this on your own without any external additives, basically, without injecting anything into your body, like Ozempic, like fillers, like things like that. And if you still, after feeling totally balanced and figuring out the root cause of all of it, go down that road, okay, more power to you. It is all about you doing it from a balanced point and actually truly 100% loving your body and yourself. And that is always the hardest part, because we always think that we love ourselves all around, but then when we dive deeper, you start uncovering more areas. And the beauty of that is the moment you start loving every piece and part of yourself, you probably don't even want to change anything about yourself anymore. And your body naturally starts changing when you start tackling those root causes. And I want you to understand that, because what we're doing when we are tackling our physical looks and our physical appearance and any struggles that we are facing with external quick fixes, we actually disconnect from the body more. So I will take because we're talking about Ozempic here, so we'll take that example, and probably in another podcast, I'll dive deeper into other forms of this. But today we're going to use Ozempic and weight loss as an example. And if you've listened to one of my podcasts before, we dive into how the fitness industry and the beauty industry likes to profit off of your insecurities. So they give you quick fixes that actually disconnect you more from the body. So what I want you to start understanding after this podcast is that your body is giving you cues. Your body is communicating with you. And it's not only communicating to you about what your body needs, but what you need as a human being, as a person. Your body is here to guide you. I'm sure you've heard it before. And if you've listened to podcasts where I discuss reflections are basically a way of mirroring to you that you are out of balance somewhere in life, that you settled for something less in life. And these reflections, so they could be showing up with your partner mirroring you, or they could be showing up in the body where you're feeling certain things in the body, having certain symptoms in the body that are actually guiding you to move back on path, move back into the dream life that you desired, and get that balance back where you're feeling imbalanced. So we all know that feeling, for example, where you are feeling stressed and you either get that nauseous feeling, or for me, I would get like rashes on my body when I'm feeling stressed somewhere. And even though I may not be experiencing that stress fully, like presently, we are very good. Our conscious mind, our ego is very good at deflecting and protecting us from what we are truly feeling. And then when we dive deeper, we realize that there is more going on. So one way, because our ego is so good and our conscious mind is so good at like disguising our feelings, that is why we have our body reflecting to us that something is off. Because if we don't listen to our body and we don't have that showing up, we're not going to dive deeper into what is going on. We will just keep trotting along and kind of bulldozing over what is happening internally. And I'm sure you've also had that before, heard that before, that you're feeling you collapse from being sick, or you get hurt, or something happens that forces you to take a break when you are just continuously bulldozing over your emotions and your feelings, because our ego and our conscious mind is so good at protecting us from actually going into feeling what we're actually feeling. And I want to give you this background because the body shows us where there is an imbalance. And there are multiple ways in which the body tries to show us this. So for example, I'll use the rash example. I'm sure you've had that before where you randomly get a rash. And my mom would already know this, like on a soul level, she would feel it and just knew that when I got a rash, she would ask me, "Oh, honey, what's going on?" Because it showed that there was something stressful going on in my body. My body was communicating to me that I was out of balance, that I was feeling stressed, that I was feeling like I couldn't keep it all together. And I was irritated about not being able to keep it all together. When we feel like we're super busy and we're super stressed, sometimes that leads to extreme headaches, right? That is because you're putting pressure on yourself. I'm sure you know people that have gut issues due to stress, right? So it is not so far-fetched to think that our body is the one that is trying to intervene when our ego and our conscious mind is trying to just push us along without tapping into what is truly going on. So our body is trying to be that mediator or that alarm system that goes, "Hey, hello, something is off. You need to check in with what is going on with yourself. You need to give yourself some more love. You need to have some more appreciation. You are bulldozing over what is truly going on." And because our body is very difficult to ignore, even though we are still very good at ignoring our body to a certain degree, right? Some of us can ignore it until we are literally in the hospital. But at that point, you are going to have to reflect and see what is going on. And the same thing happens when it comes to holding on to weight. And we've spoken about this in a previous podcast about what the real root reason of holding on to weight is. And that is your body protecting itself from your own abuse or from you beating yourself up. And depending on where you hold weight in the body, that also tells a different story on how you're beating yourself up. And this doesn't necessarily need to be beating yourself up about how you look, but it can be about beating yourself up about anything in any other area of life, in any of the 8 areas of life, right? So this is a quick overview of how the body communicates with you and why it is so important that you understand that the body is communicating with you, and why I want to give you that overview, and why you need to understand that the body is always working for you and not against you, is because when we try to do things, or when we do things to override what the body is trying to communicate to us, we are disconnecting from our body further. And I hope you're already starting to realize, okay, shit, if I override what my body is trying to tell me, then basically what happens, you have a channel of information coming through in one direction, right? And so the body is holding on to weight. And the body's holding on to weight because you are beating yourself up, and your body's trying to communicate that to you, right? It's trying to communicate to you, hey, listen, you are not being kind to yourself, and that's why you're holding on to weight. You're inflamed because you feel like there is a lack of flow in your life. You are bloating because you're stuck on something. So your body's trying to get you this information. So what do we do then? We try to override that and basically bulldoze through that feeling like, I don't care what you're communicating to me. I am going to bulldoze through what you're trying to say to me because I want to look better. I want to look better, and I'm going to use a quick fix. What does that do? The body now needs to find a new way to send you that information, to get you that information. And we don't actually get to the root cause. In fact, we make the root cause worse. We make the root cause worse, and what starts happening is we are pushing down this feeling that your body's trying to communicate with you. So it has to come out in different areas, right? It has to come out in different areas because you're blocking off one channel. So what starts to happen is this feeling of, beating yourself up has to come through in different areas. Maybe bigger health issues, right? So instead of now you holding on to weight, you're going to have bigger health issues that are showing up in other areas because you have so severely denied your body's communication, and you haven't actually listened and gone to the root cause of what your body is trying to explain to you. So what can start happening, these side effects that Ozempic, for example, can give you might start popping up because on a deeper level, you are rejecting this information. So you maybe start getting nausea, you start getting heavier illnesses. And sadly, Ozempic does a lot of things. So basically what Ozempic does, and I'll give you a little bit of a better understanding, is it actually creates this hormone to produce more or stay in your system longer, which causes you to have a fuller feeling for longer because it slows down your digestion. And not only that, it affects your hormones in a way so that you don't have as much of an appetite anymore. So basically your stomach is fuller for longer and your appetite slows down, so you don't want to eat anymore. That is what happens. And this use of Ozempic has been linked to people losing muscle mass, even potential cancers, and so many other side effects like nausea, throwing up, nausea, depression, hair loss, diarrhea, all of this stuff is linked to the use of Ozempic. And here's the crazy thing, like the hair loss, for example, your hair signals your connection with source. Your hair signals your connection with your intuition. And because you're overriding what your body's trying to communicate with you, which is basically you're blocking the channel of intuitive information coming in, of course you're going to start losing hair. All of this is so energetically interlinked. And when we don't actually listen to the body, you can imagine that these issues start accumulating in different ways. Like muscle wasting is losing your strength. You're not seeing your power anymore, so your muscle wastes away. And that is due to you overriding what your body truly needs and taking something to try and quicken the process of weight loss when in fact you are damaging your body, you're damaging your intuition, you're damaging your connection with your body, and you are disconnecting from your power because you're trying to find a way around it instead of listening and sitting with your body and fully understanding what your body is trying to communicate with you. That is why I am not a fan of any of these things that try to override your connection with your body. Try to actually just literally, like I said already, like 400 times, bulldoze through that and get the result the quickest way possible. The quick fix is not the quick fix. The quick fix is actually understanding and listening to your body. Not only is that the quick fix, but it is the one that is going to get you the best results for a longer period of time, because we need muscle to stay fitter for longer. We need all of these things to live a longer life. So if you also want to stay younger for longer, you need muscle mass. You need to have an appetite. You need to feel all of these things and connect with your body. And when you try to take these shortcuts, there are detrimental side effects to that. Not only that, when you come off of it, a lot of the time, a lot of people end up gaining the weight and more back. Why? Because you haven't fixed the root issue. Even me, having lost so much weight, like gone down to 9% body fat in my bodybuilding competition, even though I was sticking to my diet and doing everything right after, because I was overriding what my body truly was trying to communicate with me, I gained the weight and more back. Only after I started listening to my body and identifying what my body was trying to communicate with me did I start losing weight. Did I start getting the body that I wanted, because I started listening to what my body was communicating with me, and I started loving my body where it is right now. You will start understanding that the first step to change, the first step to getting what you desire, is seeing the beauty of where you are at now. And I know that isn't always easy to identify, but that is why I can help you in the Goddess Academy, in the free resources that I provide. But also, if you want to dive deeper and get to the next level of being able to understand why your body's communicating this and what it's trying to communicate and why that is absolutely perfect. When you start understanding that and you have the right tools to do that, your body will start shifting. And you know what's the best part? You don't even necessarily need it to shift anymore. So you get the double positive out of that situation. And when we do this, when we try to take the shortcut, which is actually not a shortcut, we actually make the problem worse. Although in the beginning, you might feel like it is getting you what you want, 3 to 5 years down the line, you are going to see that it didn't fix the internal issue. It didn't make you feel more confident. It didn't get you the things that you desired. It might even backfire and give you bigger health issues, or it might even backfire and you might gain it all back because your body is trying to get you back on track. And if you don't allow your body to fully communicate what it's communicating to you, you are cutting it off from being able to do what it needs to do. And it will keep doing that because your body loves you and your body wants more for you. And that is just the way it works. So when you actually use energetic Ozempic, which I'm going to talk about now, you actually get to the root cause of what is going on. And this is going to get you longer lasting results. This is going to get you results. Not only that, it is going to get you to understand your body better. Not only that, it's going to enhance other areas in your life, because I hope you understand by now that these reflections or what your body's communicating to you is actually showing you imbalances in other areas of life. And whatever you feel about yourself and how you view yourself, that is how other people are going to view you. Not only that, it is going to make you a magnet to more things, because your energy literally creates everything around you. And when you can fully shift your energetic body, then you will start creating everything around you in the way that you desire. And this is only a small percentage of how that works. When you start fully understanding the mechanics behind this, things start to change so drastically. Like, I can't even explain to you how many things have changed once I started understanding the mechanics behind this and how beautiful this is. And when you try to take the shortcut, you take away from your ability to do that. And I know that you are able to create so much and to basically design your dream life, your dream body, your dream everything. But by trying to take a shortcut and doing something like taking Ozempic, it actually cuts off your ability to do that. And I don't want to stress anybody out that has already used Ozempic. We have techniques for that to shift whatever damage has been done. And in this form of energetic Ozempic, we can actually start getting you to get the results like Ozempic through energy healing techniques, but not only that, through shifting your energy. So what I was explaining to you before, what Ozempic does, it makes you feel fuller for longer. It also gives you it stops you from feeling hungry all the time. And it stops food cravings for like bad. It makes you feel fuller for longer. It stops you from eating more because you have less of an appetite. And it also gives you this feeling of fullness for longer. And there are many components to that. And when you start understanding what nutrition and nourishment communicates in your body, you start understanding that, for example, I'll give you one example. The feeling of fullness actually comes from feeling full in life. So when you are lacking fullness in your life, so you feel like there are missing pieces in your life, you feel like you're not feeling fulfilled, your life is not what you dreamed it to be, you can't see how full your life is of all the joys and things like that, this can cause you to feel an emptiness and lead you to wanting to maybe eat more treats and do things like that to fill that void, to get you to feel better about your life. And I can already hear you thinking, yeah, but Manouk, I do see the fullness in my life. I see how amazing my life is. I get you. I totally get you, because I was in that spot where I was like, yeah, but I see all of that. I already notice all of that. But when you don't notice it almost all of the time, or the majority of the time, and you don't notice it across all 8 areas of life, that is where it could be posing a problem. And this is not to say that you need to be actively thinking about it all the time. We have techniques to get you to see that. But a start is already seeing, what do you feel like you're lacking in life right now? And I'm sure when you're listening to this podcast, there's probably something that you're feeling emptiness in, that you feel like you're not totally full in. So look into where that is. And then can you start seeing how you actually have the thing that you desire? Because we have this thing called the universal law of all, which means that everything already exists. Everything that you desire already exists in your life right now. It is just a matter of perception. And we shift these things. So basically, if you're not feeling abundant financially, maybe you're feeling more abundant in friendships. Maybe you're feeling more abundant in knowledge. Maybe you're feeling more abundant in love. There is abundance somewhere in your life, but because it's not in the financial area of life, you are not seeing it. And when you start understanding the energetic techniques around this, you can start shifting that abundance from one place to the other. There are so many ways that we can start changing these things. And with this energetic Ozempic, as I like to call it, you start shifting the energetic root cause of these things. We start looking into, okay, why is your body holding on to extra weight? Why do you feel like you can't listen to hunger cues anymore? What is causing you to have an abundant appetite, or you don't even know when you are full anymore? You know that feeling of like you can eat endlessly and you don't actually know because you're so disconnected from the body when you're done eating, and you just keep eating because you feel like it's going to fill you up somehow. There are many ways that we can start looking into this, because everything to do with nutrition and nourishment has to do with how you're being nourished in life, how you're feeling full in life, what it is bringing you. Even when it comes to struggles with insulin, it has to do with struggling to see or absorb the joys in your life. It all comes from that area. And when you start seeing and shifting that, you can start shifting these things. And this doesn't, I can hear you thinking, yeah, but that's going to take years and years and years. No, girl. Honestly, I promise you, when you see and you have the right tools to start shifting this, you can shift this within weeks/months, maybe a year, but probably less, because it's all about shifting your neural pathways, seeing the things that you're not seeing right now, and connecting with them emotionally. Your emotions, your thoughts, your belief systems have the greatest power over your energetic body and your physical body, because it first exists within your energetic body and then it goes into your physical body. And that is what your body is communicating. Your body is communicating literally where there is an imbalance. And when you're cutting off that communication, you are actually making the problem worse, and you're depriving yourself from being able to fully tap into your innate power, the power that you hold. You are tapping into low frequency things to get a shortcut without connecting with the body and asking the body, what do you need? What are you trying to communicate with me? What are you trying to get me to understand? Because that's what the body is trying to do. And when you override it, you deprive yourself of being able to up level in so many ways in your life. And I know I totally understand, because I remember going down this route and doing affirmations and doing all of this stuff and wanting to feel better about certain things. The problem with that is these are techniques that are missing certain steps. And when you're missing these steps, the steps that are the most detrimental in getting the results, like connecting emotionally and gathering proof and things like that. And those of you who are understanding how some of this works know what I'm talking about. that is what solidifies the results that you want. And it is something that you need to start programming into your system again. And when you have those tools, everything starts to shift and change. And the beauty of that is you also get so many more bonus results as a result of that, like I mentioned before. So that is my beef with things like Ozempic. Anything, especially nowadays, anything that is trying to get you a quick fix that overrides your connection with your body, that overrides you actually diving deeper into the core issue, is a low frequency, low vibe thing. That is because the powers that be, that may be, when you follow the money, when you go to look into all of this, the more disconnected we are from our power, the more disconnected we are from our bodies, the more disconnected we are from our identity, the easier we are to manipulate. So when you start looking into that and when you start questioning, is this taking my power away? Is this disconnecting me from my body, or is this connecting me from my body? Is this giving me a lasting solution, or is this like a plug, right? That is trying to fill a hole, and so it has to ooze out in a different, sorry for the visual, ooze out from a different angle, right? So that is today's society is trying to do, and it is more important now than ever to start tapping into your power. That is how you are going to change not only your life, but many more lives, because I promise you, when people start seeing you tapping into your own power and seeing that result, more people are going to want to do that, because they're going to realize that the true power, and you hopefully realize by now, that the true power that you have comes from within. External things that you're trying to change and shift to get that internal result do not work. You need to get that transformation from the inside. And sure, but that's a topic for a different day. Sometimes taking certain external actions will shift some of the internal belief systems, but we need to be able to solidify these things. We need to be able to solidify these things to make them a core belief, a true belief that you believe about yourself. And we need to shift them for good. And that's how you're going to get the results that you desire. So, energetic Ozempic. What do you guys think? This is literally where we identify what is actually going on a deeper level. We use healing techniques and ideas to shift those internal belief systems to get you fully not only achieving the results that Ozempic will give you, but unlocking your true power within. And that is what we need to be doing today. And if you have questions about any of this, please reach out. Also, I highly recommend, we have a bunch of amazing free resources on my website, inside the free membership, where you get a better understanding of all of this, and you can start implementing these things today, because I believe in you and I know that you have the power to unlock so much. And when we try to do things that stop us from truly unlocking our power, or that cut us off from actually being able to tap into that is where I get very passionate, because you don't need all that shit. You don't need it. You don't need it. All you need is your magic within. And I promise you, you have that magic within. You just haven't been able to connect with it yet. You just haven't been able to see it yet. But that is what I'm wanting to do with this podcast and with all the content that I give you. It is me trying to show you that you are so much more powerful than you think. And you don't need all that crap from the outside that is trying to get you, that is getting you to feel uncertain and insecure about the decisions that you are making, because that is what this does. All of these things that they are doing to try and get your attention, to get those quick fixes, are actually damaging you more. And I hope you understand that by now. Okay, I am done rambling now. I want to thank you guys for showing up for this podcast. I want you to let me know if there's anything that is unclear. If anything is unclear, or you have any questions, or you feel like something is not clicking for you, that is my fault for not explaining it properly to you. So please comment below, email me, whatever you need to do. All the information is in the show notes, so you can reach out and ask any questions. If you want to dive deeper into these topics, also let me know. I would be more than happy to, because I want to give you everything that you need to unlock your true power. Thank you so much for listening, and reach out if you want to know more about energetic Ozempic and how we do that. And yeah, my name is Manouk. I'm the founder of the Goddess Academy, and I am so glad that you listened to this podcast. Thank you so much for listening to You Can Call Me Goddess. I am so happy that you joined us in this show today. If you feel like this podcast gave you any sort of life change or value, then share it with someone you think would also get a lot of value out of it, because maybe it could just be that one thing that changes that person's life. If you enjoyed the show, please give it a nice rating below or in the show, because we would love to expand more on topics that you enjoy and keep this podcast up and running. Anyways, thank you, beautiful, and I hope to see you in the next podcast.